Hey, hello there folks, it's me RGB from RGB TV, and today we return with Sosa against Leebokgu. We've had 2 games so far in this set. Games were pretty good games. Sosa really showed up with his Zerg, but in the end, couldn't quite keep up with Leebokgu. This time around though, we're going for another shot at Zerg against Protoss. Looks like they wanted to play this matchup again. We've got Leebokgu here on the name Final Re, the Blue Zerg, and Sosa, who I still don't know who it is, but he's pretty impressive. He had a really impressive Zerg here on the Yellow Protoss. So it is a rematch from game number 1. Leebokgu wasn't quite satisfied with his performance from the first game. And honestly, comparing the 2 Zergs that we've seen so far, I would agree Leebokgu didn't quite impress, whereas Sosa most certainly played a very impressive Zerg against Protoss. So game number 3, score is 1-1. Leebokgu here on the bottom corner. What's he gonna do? How is he going to show us that he has a pretty damn good Zerg? He starts with a hatchery first. He's not going for a choke. He's basically copying what Sosa did last game. Sosa also didn't go for a choke, held out for a really long time, managed to secure a choke eventually with support of Lings. So yeah, is Leebokgu gonna try to do the same? Is it gonna work for him, or is this not going to succeed? Now, first little thing I want to point out here. Sosa is going for Nexus first into double gateway, maybe triple gateway? I don't know, but he's going for an economy opening, as is most common in Protoss against Zerg. And that's going to give Leebokgu a little bit of extra time to get his hatcheries up and running, completely safe without harm, completely safe without pressure. Might even get 2 more hatcheries once he finds out that Sosa doesn't really have much of a fighting force to rush him with. And honestly, as a rabbit often does, that is when you try to take a little bit of an advantage by playing it a little bit riskier, by trying to push as much minerals into your bank account as you can. Scouting there in the top corner, is he up to something with that probe? We have a forge there already on the way. He might start a pylon here to go for something of maybe a contain inside of Leebokgu's base and push forward from that contain deeper into that corner, and to keep him small, make it difficult to move around and escape from the base and to stop a choke from happening, because a Zerg with a choke is pretty damn strong, and maybe Sosa doesn't want that. That might explain why the probe is still there. There's the pylon. He is indeed, in fact, going to try to set up some cannons, but Leebokgu there, sending out his Zerglings on time, and happens to find the pylon. Just great timing. Sosa should have waited for the Zealots, but the Zealots themselves also cannot really fight against those Zerglings. So this was kind of always doomed to fail, because with the non-choke Zerg build order, you kind of have to go for some Zerglings with Zergling speed. It's the gas are on the way already. He took Rabbit's example and went for 5 hatcheries in total. He's going to be very rich very soon, as long as he can prevent Sosa from damaging him. Although he did invest a lot of money into Zerglings to keep the pylon and the probe away, and to maybe fight against the Zealots and win the fight itself. So there's the first pylon. More Zealots are on the way. It's about 4 against 12, or maybe even more Zerglings. Zerglings are going to try to snipe the probe. Probe is trying to stay alive, but running into the Zealots, runs into his Zealots, stays alive, so the pylon there is on the way. You're back at home, we've got gas there also on the way, and the Cybercore also being warped in. So stuff is happening. More Zerglings going down there, probe still alive. I think it took some shots, but didn't really take any significant damage, like 2 or 3 hits, maybe even less than that. Now double cannon there on the way in the front. Leebokgu now on 15 drones, hasn't really droned up all that much. He's been focusing on trying to get Zerglings out to fight and contest and secure his front portion to stop the cannons from happening. But there's so many Zealots. The Zealots are just overpowering, and Leebokgu might have just gone for maybe the wrong choice. Maybe he should have droned up and just pushed Sunkens forward while droning up, getting gas, and getting a high lift in and having an actually strong fighting force against those Zealots, because Zerglings simply don't cut it. Zerglings are kinda weak against Zealots, specifically when the Zealots are fighting around structures where they can really just stop Zerglings from getting good surrounds on those Zealots. So double robot there on the way in the back. He's gonna just crawl forward with Reavers. At least that's what my prognosis is. He's gonna crawl forward with Reavers and attack Leebokgu. Leebokgu now pushing Sunkens forward after basically losing 1,000 minerals on Zerglings. And Sosa is just gonna be like, hey, it's time to go in. I am just gonna stop all these suckers from happening and try to see what I can do. See how much damage I can deal out and dish out onto Leebokgu. And Leebokgu there trying to fight back the best he can, but Sunkens there do finish up, and Zerglings in the end do provide enough assistance for the Sunkens to finish up and keep those Zealots away. So Zealots not gonna go in yet, not gonna be much of a threat yet. Also, Hydralisks finally on the way, about 26 drones in totals and double gas. He's got range and speed both on the way, kind of expensive to get both of them at the same time, but he might feel that he needs both of them at the same time because he's expecting Zealot speed and Reavers, and it's kind of hard to make a choice. I prefer to get speed for Hydras first because it makes them more maneuverable, but the range itself also just makes fighting so much easier to do. But getting both of them at the same time, to get double Hydras then when you're this low on gas, I'm not sure if I agree, but Leebokgu has plans. I think I understands the game better than I do, so I'm gonna trust him on this one. I don't entirely agree, but I'm gonna put my trust into Leebokgu's decision making here. Although I don't agree with the Zerglings that he invested in so heavily earlier on, they really wanted to stop these cannons and Reavers here from popping out and setting up shop there in his front door, on his front lawn, annoying him, taunting him, baiting him out, and he goes in. He wants to go in before all the cannons finish up. Tries to micro backwards a little bit, but there's so many cannons behind the Zealots. And the Zealots now do decide to fight back as the Hydras move forward tiny bit, but the Hydras can also dance back away from the cannons and deal damage to the Zealots. So this is just back and forth dance where Leebokgu tries to push forward, and Sosa tries to at least keep control over this area. The Reavers are spawning. More Hydras are on the way there on the bottom side. You have to wait for Overlords to spawn, although at the moment he's supply blocked, so actually he needs more Overlords again. He forgot to make them, although now he's still fighting back there, still pushing forward. Reavers in the back there, after fighting a lot of support, killing a lot of stuff. Cannons there in the end do wind up being too strong, and now another set of cannons are also ready to finish up and really just secure the area entirely and completely. You're back at home, we've got Scarab damage of one attack and Storm on the way. Also got all the Templars there on the way. They're going to move forward and start storming on Hydras as soon as they can. Now we got triple Reavers here on the scene and 2 more are on the way. Level 1 attack is finished up and Zealot speed is also finished up. So this is a pretty scary fighting force at the moment, whereas Leebokgu doesn't really have all that much. He just spent too much money, got held back by needing Overlords, which he still does. He still needs the Overlords. He's just going all in. He goes for the attack. Gonna try to win this one. The Scarabs just explode everything. Leebokgu taps out. That game was... Sosa played that one really well. He just played that one really well. Leebokgu, on the other hand, I think he made a couple of choices that weren't in his best interest. He had an idea though, and I do like the idea that he had, but it was a little bit sloppy, and in the end, as well, most of the time, playing Zerg is very difficult, specifically against Protoss, Sosa wins the game. Which means so far, we've had no Zerg wins, only Protoss wins, which on the fastest map is kind of to be expected. Protoss just tends to win against Zerg, unless the Zerg player is one of those absolutely amazing, insanely good players. But for pretty much everyone else, Zerg is always at a natural disadvantage. So now we've got Finalry. Again, Leebokgu, you're on the Zerg, but he's not against the Protoss, he is in fact playing against Sosa's Terran. We've seen Sosa's Protoss and Terran, both of them actually quite impressive on both. His Terran and Zerg have been really good. There's not much else I can say about it except that those two races he played are good. His Terran probably also pretty damn good. The guy's been showing off really solid build orders, controlled, restrained. He just has a really good set of brains. Well, at least one brain. He's got a great brain in his head. Got a great mind. I don't think you can say a set of brains in his head, because then he'd have more brains, and you can only have one brain. I'm just going off a random tangent that's really about nothing at all, because I'm trying to fill up time here for the first minute or so. Now we've reached the 1 minute mark, so now it's time to actually start talking about something important. There is an SCV there going into the middle pretty early on. That SCV is very early, very quick SCV into the middle. I don't like it, but he wants information. We have a delayed barracks there in the front. It's a delayed barracks, went for depot, barracks, but the barracks there was delayed by one SCV because he sent the SCV that spawned after the SCV that built the depot into the middle. Most of the time you either use the 8th SCV or the 8th supply SCV for a barrack or supply depot, and the 9th SCV for a barrack or supply depot. One of the two. Rarely do I see anyone send their 9th SCV into the middle. It slows down the first Marine. It can actually wind up being lethal to have that Marine slowed down that much. There's a gas on the way already from Sosa. First Marine, they're also on the way. About 250 minerals there in the bank. What is he going to spend it on? It's going to be an academy. It's going to be something else. I don't know. I'm curious to see what he's got up his sleeve. Leebokgu here, though, goes for double hatchery, pool, gas, which means, of course, we're going to see some circling speed coming out as well. There's an academy. So double barrack academy. Looks like he wants to go for Stim Firebat. He still hasn't found him yet. He's been scouting all over the place looking for the creep, but he couldn't find the creep because the creep is right here in the corner, very far away from the choke, and actually exactly right next to him. Very close. Just right next to him. He's gonna find him though, sees the Overlord there high in the air, which more or less means he's there on the scene, on location at the top right corner. A really close proximity game we're gonna get here on our hands. So there's barrack number 3. Factory also on the way. We don't have Stim yet because the academy there is still under construction. Didn't go for a second command center. Gonna play it on a single one. Zerkers are moving out into the middle. Gonna intercept the SCV. He's gonna try to get through and get information. Gets surrounded there. Good surround from Leebokgu. Kills the SCV there. Back at home, we got a lair on the way and a sunken as well. Didn't go for hatchery number 4. Most of the time in this situation, I see people go for hatchery number 4 right about now, but he doesn't have it yet. Overlord there finishing up, opening up supply space. He has a lot of money in the bank. Zerk speed there finishing up. Still no 4th hatchery. He's going to play it on triple hatchery, getting a second gas already. Is he saving minerals for Lurker aspect? That's the big question I've got in my mind. What exactly is he going to do? He's got the Hylas Den there finished up there back at home. Zerkers are coming in there for the attack, gets surround, but surround not really going to be that effective because we've got way too many Marines to fight into for those poor Zerkers, so they turn around, turn tail back into their own little area of control here on the middle, although Sosa now is contesting the control here over the middle. He wants to move out, start the attack, but he can't quite go all the way out without patience. He has to be patient. Leebokgu back at home, 2 Sunkens, hatchery, Lair's finished, a couple more Zergers are on the scene on the way, 1 Hydralisk is finished up, getting Lurker aspect as well. Needs an Overlord, so he's waiting for Overlords to build more Hydras for more Lurkers. So Lurkers are getting into the base, they're running in all the way to the backside. We still have some Firebats and Marines if you're back at home to protect it. So no harm is dealt or experienced. Now he sent 1 medic in there to scout ahead to get information of what's here on the scene, and he finds 2 Sunkers there on the scene, so he knows that he can't quite go in. What's he gonna do next? He's gonna look for an opening on the left side. We've got a Queen's Nest there in the side. The Queen's Nest is actually not protected by the Sunken, so the Marines can take it down. Marines can take it down, but there's a lot of Hydras and Lurkers there back at home. They're back on the side. Lurker aspect very close to finishing up. Goes for a Stim attack, gonna try to take down the Queen's Nest before it finishes up. Or he can start a Hive. If he can stop the Hive, it's gonna be great for Sosa. Slowing down the Hive when he really critically needs to get that Defiler out. There's the Hive though, gets it up right in time. He doesn't need the Queen's Nest anymore. Although I've seen some players go for Queen and Snare strategies on normal maps. with lurkers and ultralisks, so Queen's Nest can be quite useful. But in this case, he's not gonna need it anymore because the hive is on the way. He just needs the fodder mount right after, and he's gonna be completely fine. Although now he's going for circling lurker attack, moving out. A lot of units there paired. A couple Marines there out of position. Are they gonna get caught out? Zerglings are on the hunt, on the chase, gonna try to get some information, and he turns around, loses a couple of them. Overlord still providing information. You got a lot of Marines and tanks there in the choke. Build a turret there as well. Goes in for the attack, gets to the burrow right next to the Marines and the Fire Bats. The Fire Bats completely destroyed most of the Zerglings that were here on the scene, but the Lurkers themselves have set up. So the Zerglings have served their purpose. Now more Zerglings are on the way, and as those Zerglings are going to move out, he's going to unburrow the Lurkers, move them forward, use the Zerglings for basically as a meat shield to let the Lurkers burrow up. And maybe he's going to push forward, or is he just going to stay there in the front? He doesn't feel feisty today. He feels a little bit passive and defensive. He's going to stay there in the front, get hatcheries here back at home. See a Spire on the way, and there is the fodder mount coming up as well. So 2 more hatcheries for 5 in total. Still on double gas, only has 20 drones, but Sosa has 26 SCVs. He's not that rich himself. He's been on a single command center all this time and hasn't really been building SCVs for the entire duration of this game. So Zerglin there tries to move out, gets a little bit of information, sees that there's not many units there in the entrance pathway, so nothing to be worried about. Sosa isn't big, Leebokgu is not big, but for a Zerg, having diverse technology is more important than being big, in my honest opinion. So there he moves out. Vessel is there on the scene, a lot of Marines and 4 tanks. We got Consume on the way as the fodder mount in the backside is finished. You got about 5 lurkers in total spread about in the base. He's still very low on gas. He needs a couple more gas, but he needs to... Oh, the lurker goes down to the tanks. Tanks are not even sieging up, just rolling forward because they outrange the lurkers with their normal, basically unsieged mode. Siege tanks, even without siege, are pretty strong. But he sieges them up in the end because he wants to really set up a zone of control to push forward from and not get cut out by surprise. Although now that Lurkers and Zerglings coming in to go for an attack, they're burrowed up right next to everything. Lurkers are burrowing up. Lurkers getting scanned. Kills most of the Marines with the first volley. Vessel there stays alive. All the Lurkers are dead and gone there though. Not the best attack there from Leebokgu. Maybe he should have been a little bit more patient and waited for the Defiler. But now Vessel comes in. Vessel radiates. Does he have burrow? He has no burrow, but he splits up his drones really well and loses only a single drone. Not sure how he did that, but he did it. But now we've got tanks are on the scene, teaching up, ready to kill the drones. He burrows up right next to the tanks. Zerglings are coming in from the side. The Marines have all gone down. Tanks are going down as well. Tanks gonna get a shot up on the drones. Drones all went down. All the drones are gone. They're all gone. There's only 5 left. Leebokgu is not having much success with his decision-making processes. He kind of just screws himself over again. So far in every Zerg game so far in the set, he kind of screwed himself over with some choices he shouldn't have made, but which he still made. And I gotta admit, it's difficult to make choices sometimes when you're Zerg, because sometimes you feel strong, but you ain't strong, and then you go for a choice feeling strong, but you end up being weak and you get stomped up into the ground. That's kind of what happened to Leebokgu here. He's still alive though. There's still a chance of a comeback because Sosa is about 73 supply. And Leebokgu has technology now. He's got Consume and Lurkers. So still a realistic chance. Although the setup here on the side is pretty brilliant. Might actually kill the Defiler or the Lurkers before they even burrow up and set up shop in the front. Oh yeah, there's a Radiate on the Defiler. Gonna have to throw down the Darkstorm really quick. Lurkers are moving forward. Lurkers are not burrowed up though, so they're low HP. They're gonna get tank fight. One Lurker goes down and one Lurker burrows up. They're on the ground in the front with pressure on everything. But the tanks they're sieging up next to the hillside are just making life miserable for Leebokgu who wants to enter into the middle. A couple Scorch there hunting for a vessel on the side, or maybe just waiting for a vessel to arrive so they can kill it. It's basically setting up protection for Radiates there with those 2 Scorches. So yeah, he moves away. This is not really gonna work. He moves back into his base. He can't go for an offensive aggressive move. He has to defend himself from Sosa, who is currently still pretty low on SCVs, about 46, about 10 minutes in. He's got triple command center, adding on more gas. He's getting richer and richer. And soon he will be very big and strong as well with his production Currently on 4 factories, 1 starport, 1 science facility, and triple barracks, which are still being used. Most of the time, we don't see barracks being used for a very long time in Terran against Zerg by most players. Some players really do like Marines a whole lot more, though, in this matchup. So he goes out, moves in. Lurker there on the scene. Lurker kills only 1 Marine. Could have been worse. Could have been worse. Lurker there goes down to the tank shots. Once again, not sieged up, just outranging the Lurkers. He's got no Lurkers at the moment in the backside. He's just got Zerglings and pretty much nothing else that can really fight back against his force from Sosa that's coming in. Throws down the Dark Swarm there though, but the Dark Swarm is also going to help the Firebats kill the Zerglings. The Firebats are going to be the heroes of the day. Gets 2 Lurkers, they're on the scene though. Lurkers burrow up, but the army is just going to ignore the Lurkers and move to the side. One Festa gets taken down by some Scorches, and the tanks are rolling up, getting closer. The Hive first going to see her radiate. All the drones. Drones don't have burrow. Still no burrow. Still no burrow. Gets some shots off. Kills almost all the drones. And only 9 drones are left alive. Lurkers reposition himself into the Dark Swarm. 1 is out of the Dark Swarm. Most of the tanks and Marines did go down, but now the tanks are set up in between the Dark Swarms, where the Zerglings can't really do much. And Leebokgu leaves game number 4 as well, and he's now down 3-1. Things just really ain't going well for Leebokgu. When I went into this series, I thought he was going to be the protagonist, but he's kind of getting tossed around here. He's kind of getting tossed around by Sosa, who's just getting the upper hand of his Zerg time and time again. Now, I must admit, Leebokgu is not specifically known for his Zerg. He's more so known for his Terran and Protoss. And I think I understand why. He's not bad by any means. He still gets wins on Zerg against really good players quite often, but his Protoss and Terran are just on another level. So that's gonna make the next game all the more interesting. So for the next game, we're gonna watch Leebokgu go up against Sosa in Terran against Zerg. We've already confirmed that Sosa's got a pretty damn amazing Zerg. So how good is Sosa's Zerg against Terran? How are these two gonna match up? Who's gonna win? Okay, on the bottom corner, Leebokgu, final read. Top left corner, Sosajangnim on the teal Zerg. Okay, what are they gonna do? What they gonna do? I don't know. I've got a feeling that Sosa's probably going for a non-choke Zerg again, as he's done in every game so far. And Leebokgu starts off with his traditional barrack opening on 8 supply and a 9 supply depot. I never see Leebokgu do anything else but this when he's Terran against Terran, Terran against Protoss, Terran against Zerg. Just whenever he plays Terran, this is what he does. I never saw him do anything else. Haven't seen him do command center first, haven't seen him do depot first. Always the barracks. Because he believes in barracks on 8 supply. It's just pretty strong. If the enemy's right next to you, you got some real rushing potential if they are going for an economy build order instead of an early game build order. So Sosa there starts off with a hatchery on the other side of the map. And honestly, this is really good for Sosa, because Sosa now is a long distance between both of these two players. He's going to stay alive for a really long time. Yet the sun comes up in the front before Leebokgu even finds him. Even though Leebokgu goes for what is typically known as an early game rushing build order, there's going to be no rushing happening whatsoever. Also goes for the very fast gas, just like Sosa did last game. He's going to go for 2 barracks into gas into Academy. Although he scouts with the Marine first, though not with an SCV, so there's a small little difference in how much money Leebokgu will have as compared to Sosa last game, because Sosa scouted with the SCV really early, hurts your economy a tiny little bit. Leebokgu keeps all of his SCVs on the minerals. He will have a couple more minerals in the bank as the game goes on. Small little advantages and disadvantages with every single choice you make. That's Starcraft. There's never only advantages to be gained. So triple hatchery in the back, then a gas. Most players I've seen over the past couple of years on the Korean map, when they get Zerg against Terran, they go for triple hatchery, into gas. But now we've got 4 hatcheries in total here for Sosa into the gas. He's going to be a little bit delayed on his technology and his lair. Most of the time, the lair would be starting at about 3 minutes or 3... Yep, really early on, basically. So, the gas there from Sosa is a little bit late. Getting some Zerglings out onto the map to start fighting and scouting and killing Marines, or maybe just finding information to know what Leebokgu is up to. Leebokgu is moving his Marines across the map, which is sometimes a little bit risky, sometimes it's not. It really depends on whether the Zerg is going for a lot of Zerglings early on, or whether they're kind of being more passive and defensive like Sosa is being right here. Sosa just wants to get his economy running, get his lair, and wall off his front with an adequate amount of summons. So factory there being built pretty far in the front of his base. Usually we can see or expect the Terran to build a factory on the middle when it's a cross-map situation, because there's just so much distance to cover for the tank once it finishes up. Might as well build the factory on the middle and hopefully never lose control over the middle and have to lift up or lose the factory itself. Leebokgu gonna try to fish for an opening. I mean, it's worth it looking for an opening, seeing if you can get in and kill some Sunkens, or just, yeah, get into the base. He's gonna try to do it. Firebats are pretty strong. They can take a lot of damage, specifically when medics are on the scene. They don't die as fast as Marines. A couple more circuits that are being built from Sosa. He really wants to keep these Marines out of his base. You can see them with the Overlord there on the bottom side. He doesn't want them to get in whatsoever. So how does then they're on the way, lair also on the way, double gas there for Sosa, and getting Zergling speed as well, at least in 24 drones, more workers than Leebokgu has at the moment. I like what Sosa is doing, focusing more on economy and a little bit less on aggression. Usually we see a lot of aggression coming out from players on very small economies when they play Zerg. Sosa has a different understanding of Zerg that I think most players don't quite have. And just based on his very first Zerg game in this set, he played so beautiful. I really think this guy's got moves and potential to get a Zerg win, basically. So Leebokgu here in the front, moving across the map very slowly, got double starport, going for an armory as well. Once he gets some Valkyries, he's expecting Mulelisk micro from Sosa. He's expecting some sweet-ass micro, some wacky moves, some impressive moves. But I think we're not going to see Mulelisk anytime soon, because he's getting Lurker aspect and getting Hydralisk as well. It's going to be Lurkers. And we're not going to have detection from vessels, because he went for double dropship. He's getting a science facility now as well. It's a double dropship. I was wrong, it's not. He's not going for Valkyries. I saw the armory here, so I was expecting Valkyries. But now he's going for double dropship. So a lot of units to pick up and send across the map. He's got a lot of Marines and Firebats and Medics here to pick up and send into the base. But there's Lurkers in the base, but the Lurkers might actually be positioned into the front part here to stop the push. Or they might stay in the back to defend. So it depends on whether he can see the dropships. He sees the dropships. He knows they're coming. It's no longer a surprise. Leebokgu put no effort into keeping this a secret, so now everything Sosa has is moved to the back, not to the front. Which doesn't mean the front is gonna go down to the tank push sometime soon, but at least the Marines and Firebats are not gonna deal critical amounts of damage to Sosa's base. And I hope as I say that, it's not gonna ruin anything. It's not ruining anything, okay. Well, Leebokgu knows I tried something, not quite working, so let's just turn around and unload, and he's gonna try? Is he still gonna try? Is he moving around? He's got Scourges on the way. Scourge gonna take down the drop, and boom, he's got 16 units dead and gone, and now he's moving into the middle where Leebokgu doesn't have that many Firebats and Marines anymore, and also no detection. Down go the tanks, and a couple more. The tank stays alive, but one tank went down. So yeah, that entire sequence of events definitely set the game up for success for Sosa. He's in a great position. He's got basically no pressure on his ass at the moment. He's got 4 hatcheries in the back, 2 more on the way. He's got 6 hatcheries in total. He's got the fighter mount on the way. He's got Evo chambers on the way. He's got a spire. No greater spire yet. There it is. It's on the way. Mining from 4 gas. Gets 36 drones, getting more drones as time goes on. Leebokgu had something tricky in mind, but the tricks didn't quite pay off. Sosa saw it all, was prepared, fended it off without issue whatsoever. So how's Leebokgu gonna play this one? How is he gonna try to push himself towards success in this scenario? It looks pretty difficult. Both players are about equally big, equally rich, equally likely to win the game. Although, even more hatcheries coming out for Sosa. Sosa is just not going for any early aggression or counterattacks yet. Really, most of the time we see players just go all out for the counter here. Once they clear out this little push there in the front, they just go hard without waiting. But Sosa is just taking his time. He knows he's rich, richer than Leebokgu probably sometime in the future, because he's going to have so many hatcheries to produce from. Already got another 3 on the way for a total of 9. It's going to be a lot of hatcheries, a lot of production. 60 SCVs there though from Leebokgu from his triple command center SCV production. 5 starport, 5 factories, 2 starports, going to fill out his entire base once he has a little bit more money in the bank. Scout coming in there from Sosa with a Mulus, sees most of the information, sees that Leebokgu is not that massive yet. Although we're only 9 minutes in, so he cannot be that massive. There's the Dark Lurker, the Dark Swarm Lurker frontal choke protection to keep Leebokgu out, and now Leebokgu has to start formulating different kinds of ideas to deal damage. Got Scourges there though. Scourges are responding, gonna try to intercept the Vessels. Vessels do get intercepted in the end there, gets nothing at all, so that's a lot of money lost there from Leebokgu, and even more time saved for Sosa to grow bigger, stronger, and perhaps too strong and too big to fail. The 2 Defilers are in the front to keep those lurkers alive. More vessels arrived on the scene. A couple more starports are on the way. You're back at home in a factory as well. Still on triple command center, still mining from 6 gas. Not a lot of gas coming into the bank, but it's enough for now. Scans the base from Sosa. Sees pretty much everything, I assume. Sosa now has 62 drones. He's droning up so hard. 68 drones. He's droning up harder than I've seen most players do in Terran against Zerg. As I said before, most of the time I see players just try to go for a counterattack and win the game really fast, but maybe just droning up, getting rich and big is the right approach for Zerg. Though now we've got a lot of vessels coming in. Does he have Burrow? Great play, that's gonna help him. Doesn't have Burrow. Does have Burrow, he's got the Burrow. This guy is not making mistakes at all. Vessels do go down, though now we've got Valkyries as well, but the Vessels got Plague, so they don't really hurt that badly. Still there alive in the backside, isn't using a Scourge to take it down, so the Hydras are moving over very slowly. One hit takes it down. And he keeps most of the drones alive. He lost about 3 of them. He was on 68, now on 65. Sosa is looking mighty fine. Leebokgu now setting up a little bit of a stronger contained attempt, because he can't get in. So if he can't get in, he might as well try to keep Sosajangnim contained and in prison. So turrets on the sides, vision. Vessels in the front, trying to create and kill the lurkers to prevent Dark Swarms from happening. He has another Dark Swarm in the tank though, 2 of them in fact. He throws down 2 more. So he's not going to get in yet. Leebokgu is not going to get in yet. He's pushing very well, not pushing at all. He can't push. Goodbye, Marines. Oh, dear God. Or Marines. Being a Marine in StarCraft is a pretty bad life. You either die to your enemy, or you die to your commander commanding you to die at the end. Basically the same thing. Oh, great. Great Scourge is hunting down the Vessels. Vessels do all go down. Valkyries can't protect them. So he's forced to use his scan, but there's no lurker on, there's no Defiler on the scene to throw down a Dark Swarm. So actually, Leebokgu now pushing forward, gaining a little bit of ground. Sosa Nest now back inside of his base, but another Defiler there on the scene to throw down a Dark Swarm just in time. 86 drone. This guy is still droning up. This guy is still droning up, getting all the gas. He's on 11 hatcheries. Not that massive, but not small either. Same for Leebokgu. He's actually pretty massive. It's about 7, 8 factories, and we've got about our 7 starports as well. There's going to be a lot of vessel and Valkyrie production, also a lot of tank production. He's just going to keep pumping out units, send them across the map, and hopefully have a successful push. Well, Sosa also close to maxing out at about 13 minutes in. He's really doing this pretty quickly, despite his APM not being one of the fastest or the highest. Once again, lurkers move back a tiny little bit, but they do secure the front. Scourges once again take down the vessels. Both vessels do go down. The push once again will be slowed down. Uses a scan, but the scan not going to do much in detecting lurkers under a dark swarm. Valkyrie, the Violet's still there in the back, safe and sound, repeating and throwing down new dark swarms to make sure Leebokgu is not going to get in. Leebokgu is going to has to get creative basically. There's some queens on the side to ensnare. I love this. This guy is actually planning on using every single upgrade, every single technology that a Zerg has at their disposal, and actually use them, hopefully, to great effect and to his advantage. I really hope he gets to show off some beautiful moves. So Leebokgu is still stuck here in the front. Has some dropships to put the tanks up on the high ground. It's the classic Terran against Zerg move on this map. Tanks on the hills. The hills have tanks. It's really a nightmare, a horror to behold when you're a Zerg. But is it really that painful? Is it really that much of a horror? We've got a lot of Mutalisks here ready to turn into Guardians or go for a Queen Mutalisk bomb on the command center. He's looking for a way out, but he finds that there's basically turrets everywhere. Turrets everywhere. Is he ever going to get out? Goes for the bottom side where there's less turrets. Flies out. Is Leebokgu going to respond? He just has to pull back the Valkyries. Leebokgu is not pulling back his Valkyries. He's not pulling back. He's too focused on this hillside here. Oh no. Leebokgu actually missed those Mutas flying over his turrets because he was focused on this little exchange here on the top side where he's trying to get tanks on the high ground. Now we've got Mutas coming in hot. There's an overlord in the back, seeing everything. There's nothing here back at home. Absolutely nothing. This is actually a disaster unfolding in favor of Sosa at the disadvantage of Leebokgu. Now there's Mutalisk there on top of the command center. It's getting taken down really, really quick. Queen overtakes. We've got an infested command center. Going for infested command center number 2. Vessels arrive on the scene. Vessels going to have to radiate, although they do risk killing their own SCVs at the same time as well. Double. He's got double infested command center right now. Goes for number 3. He's going to get number 3. Ooh, things are looking dirty, things are looking nasty, things are looking really exceptionally bad. Throws on the radius in the end. A lot of SCVs already went down for Leebokgu. Now Valkyrie's arriving at back home as well. Puts the units on top of the SCVs. Kills a load of SCVs there with the radiate. This game is completely spiraled out of control for Leebokgu. Sosa just having a great game. Completely caught Leebokgu off guard with his pants down, not paying attention. Now you've got infested Terrans killing structures. Oh, wow, nice. We actually never see infested Terrans killing anything, but we got some infested Terrans killing structures, killing SCVs. He's actually doing it. The Madman is actually making it work. So here in the front, now we've got Guardians moving out, and there's not much in the air to take them down. Got some Goliaths in the scene. Vessels are returning from home to the battle scene. A little bit too late there, though, because the Guardians are taking everything down. You get tanks on the hill got taken down as well by the lurkers under a dark swarm. This game is absolute disaster for Leebokgu. Sosa is just showing him how it's done. It looks like the infested Terrans are no longer gonna be in play as the command center get taken down. Leebokgu is pretty broke on 21 SCV. Still has one command center left, but one command center in this situation is basically the same as not having any at all, because it's really far away from the minerals. So the Guardians got taken down by Radius, but now the Guardians got taken down by Scorches. So yeah, Sosa has a mass Guardian army prepared, mass Guardian army on the scene. A lot of vessels there as well. It's a lot of vessels. It's a lot of them. Where are the Valkyries though? There's 1 of 2 Valkyries there back at home, unable to support. He's gonna flake the vessels, flakes most of them. Ouch, that hurts. Can't even really afford to repair them because he's got no money. He's actually got no more money coming into the bank because he's lifting up his command center to relocate it. No, he's not. He's not. I thought he was relocating. He's just building new ones. Vessels, ouch. Oh, the pain, the horror. Oh, this actually hurts so much. Losing so many of his expensive units. He's also killing a lot of Guardians though with the Radiates. Great Radiates. Kills most of the Guardians with Radiates as they just stack the up to each other. And the Goliaths in the low ground just finish off the low HP Guardians. Another beautiful Radiate. Radiates really are underrated. Basically, about 24 Guardians killed only a couple of tanks. And maybe a couple of Goliaths. But at this point, Sosa doesn't care. He's rich, bitch. He's rich as can be, and Leebokgu is broke. He is so broke, he knows he's done for. So Sosa wins this set with 4 wins in total against Leebokgu's single win. Sosa just showed him how it's done. With the Zerg, beautiful Zerg, great control, great planning, great awareness, as everything was on point. Leebokgu couldn't actually do anything during the entire game. Every single thing he tried to do, Sosa was aware of it. He saw it coming, he had a vision, prepared himself, completely, perfectly fine. Handled everything like a boss. Sosa, definitely, watching this, is one of my favorites. I don't know who it is, it could be Rabbit, I don't know who it is. But this guy is impressive. Thank you for watching. It was RGB for RGB TV with some Leebokgu against Sosajangnim, a stranger who I absolutely have no idea who it is, but he's pretty good. We saw it all. We witnessed it. Beating Leebokgu impressively well. Thanks for watching. See you next time.